everyone. Today we are talking about health optimization. I hope everyone's having a wonderful start to the year. We're going to be joined today by Mike Young, the organization of Health Optimization Crews, someone who spent years inside the health event world and then made a bold shift when he realized something very important. So I'm just waiting for him to jump on. Here he is. I think. Let's see. Yay! Hi, Mike.
Good morning.
How are you?
Excellent.
Good. Glad to hear it. Well, I was just kind of talking about the health optimization cruise, and so let's jump in by starting with your background a little bit. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay, so you spent years, if I'm correct, you spent years working at Veg Fest events, and then you made a change and you kind of stepped away from that. Something wasn't right, or you kind of learned that it wasn't about health, more so about vegan junk food and just about the animals. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's basically it. And actually, I'm coming to you from Marion County, Florida. That's where I am right now. And
Ooh,
we started a nonprofit 11 years ago where the initial focus was these Veg Fest events like you're talking about.
yeah,
And yeah, we found that, back in the day in 2014, that was like a cutting edge type of a thing, like leading edge thing that most people didn't even understand. Most people, I think, in 2014 didn't know what vegan was or
sure,
plant-based, and it was hard to find, specific foods that would accommodate that lifestyle. And that's why those events were popular, back
yeah,
in at that time. And we did those all the way up till about last one was April of 2023.
okay,
And yeah, I realized, like we've talked about before, that I would go to the events. My wife and I, we produced most of the events ourselves. We did 25 of them in the last 2 years
wow,
alone. And I would get sick eating the food. And
yeah,
we were always about health. I mean, our organization's always been about health. But back in 2014, most people didn't know what vegan or plant-based was. So it was a big leap to get them to go to the best they could do for their health.
sure,
So we hope to evolve the festivals, but it just didn't work out that way. And we developed our own nutritional standard. We incentivized food vendors for bringing foods that met our nutritional standard, but almost nobody did. And it was all
yeah,
about, as we realized, as time went on up to 2023, plant-based has become an industry.
yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
all about the money, like earning as
Mm-hmm.
much as you possibly can. And we realized, like, at some point, what are we going to be known for?
Yeah,
Because we want to be known for helping people and not hurting people. And so we decided at that point, April 2023, that was the last event. We're going to start something new. Like you said, we do health optimization travel events now. So we have a cruise. We just went to Uganda for safari, and
wow.
we have other local events too, like over here where I am right now, which is near the Villages, Florida, which is actually the world's largest clan community,
Oh, I didn't
150,000
know that.
people. Yeah, we started up a group here just a couple months ago. We've got over 200 people in our health optimization club, and
Wow.
we're gonna do an event here at a restaurant just down the street from here. That's gonna meet our 6 pillar healthy vegan food standards. So that's what we're very much focused now since 2023 on doing the best that we can for human health and not harming
That's
ourselves. Because
amazing.
yeah, I mean, that's it. It's like what you're doing too with the vegan wellness retreat. I mean, you want to do the best that you can because nobody knows where that cutoff is between illness and health.
Sure.
So we have to do the best we can if we want to live.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't enjoy their life and doesn't want to live, it's a hard sell. But if
Yeah.
somebody wants to live, like I'm 55, like I figure I just passed the first third of my life if I'm
Yeah.
expecting to live to 150. So I got a long way to go, and I don't
Yeah.
want to suffer. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy life.
Absolutely. Just because something's vegan does mean it supports long-term health. And I think that's
Yeah.
really important for people to understand. So you created the health optimization pyramid. Can we kind of talk about what that is? Can you walk us through what this pyramid is, why you structured it the way you did? I think you've changed it a few times.
Sure. Well, let me pull out my notes here just so I make sure I'm talking. But basically, we developed what we call our own 12-step program. Now, if you're familiar with Alcoholics Anonymous, they have their own 12-step program for you to get back to health, really to
Yeah.
get away from that addiction that people have. And that's just one addiction. Of course, we all know that we're all addicted. Our taste buds are hijacked and totally addicted to all these prepared foods that we
Sure.
have out there. And of course, mostly it's the fat and the sodium that is
Yeah.
truly fueling that addiction. So it makes no difference if it's plant-based or vegan. If something's
Right.
high in fat or high in sodium, it's going to hurt you. I mean,
Yeah.
your taste buds love it, but the rest of you does not. So let me pull up my notes here. What's with somebody yesterday? Because I always meet people that want to know like what we do, why we're
Yeah.
doing it. And I say like, what you're doing here with the vegan wellness retreat is very intentional. You have
Absolutely.
very, very close to nature guidelines with the food and with the
Yeah.
activities. And that's what you need to do. And so like a lot of people who are in the health space, they're not very clear on what they want to do. They say they want to help you. They say they want to improve your health, but there's no actual goal, right? And
Exactly.
there's no framework or method to get there.
Yeah.
So that's what you need. We've all been taught wrong. So we all
Yeah.
need to relearn the right way to do it. So here's what I would say. Um, Basically, our 12-step program is a combination of the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine in combination with our nutrition standard I mentioned, which is the 6 pillars of healthy vegan food. So lifestyle medicine is a newer concept where it integrates basically close to nature living, the best way to live, along with the traditional medical system. And as we know, the traditional medical system is basically the sick care system or
Yeah.
the disease management system. But
Absolutely.
if you find a medical professional that's board certified in lifestyle medicine, they understand these 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine. Now, what they are is plant-based nutrition is number 1, and we will clarify that later with our nutritional standard.
Okay.
Number 2 is physical activity. So like I'm out here, moving around. You just got to move around. You're designed. You got arms and legs, right? So
Yeah.
you gotta move. I mean, if you don't use it or lose it, that's what I say. So
Absolutely.
all right. So number 3 is stress management. So you need to be doing something that you like to do. If you're doing
Yeah.
something you don't like to do, that's very stressful. But if you're working hard and accomplishing goals and doing what you want, that's not bad stress. That's actually that's good. So it's the bad stress you want to eliminate. That's
Okay.
number 3. Number 4 is avoidance of risky substances. So like I was talking about AA, alcohol, that's 1. But there's many.
Absolutely.
We know that everyone's addicted to most of these prepared foods. So
Yeah.
that's a risky substance. You need to avoid that. All right. Number 5 is restorative sleep. So when you're sleeping at night, that's the repair time. If you don't get good quality sleep, your body's always impacted by whatever you do every day. It has to repair. So you've got
Yeah.
to get that good sleep. And then social connections, like you and I are talking. You have the
Yeah.
vegan wellness retreat. You bring people together. You meet like-minded individuals. You feel good. You get support. That's the social connections part. So all those 6 pillars, that's half of it, they're required basically for good
Okay.
health. Okay. So
Amazing.
if you want good health, just follow those. Now, the plant-based nutrition standard that they have is really nothing. They just say plant-based nutrition. Lifestyle medicine is not a vegan concept. That's why it fits in with the existing medical system. They'll accept it because it's not too restricting. But if you want to do the best you can, that's what we found. The food is more than 50%, I'd say, of the results alone,
Exactly.
just the food. So our standard is, number 1, we're talking about prepared foods here. You got to have whole plant fiber in your prepared food. The reason why is because 90 to 95% of people don't get enough fiber every single day. That is what optimizes your gut health, which of
Yeah.
course optimizes your mental health. So if you have
Absolutely.
issues with that, it's probably because you're not getting enough fiber, almost certainly, because almost nobody is. That's the problem.
Yeah.
All right, number 2 is zero animal products. We're a vegan organization, our nonprofit, even though we're called the plantbaseddiet.org. But we're vegan, and there is nothing when you do the cost benefit analysis of animal products. It's just not worth it. And if you want to
Yeah.
do the best you can, you don't include animal products. As simple as that. And of course, there's no fiber in animal products. And I just said you have to have fiber, so you're not going to be able to get that.
Sure.
All right, number 3. Here's where the fat comes in.
Okay.
No added oil, zero added oil. Oil is a processed food. Everybody knows processed food is bad.
Yeah.
So you'll never find a bottle of oil in nature. Like there's trees, there's leaves here. There's no bottle of oil. But these
Right.
plants, they all have little amounts of oil in the actual plant material. It's already there. It's just not processed to an isolate of 100% calories from fat. That's what we don't want. The
Right.
other thing is we're talking about prepared foods, which everyone loves to eat. You know, you've got to watch that fat level. So we say you got to keep that fat level at 10% calories from fat maximum. So that is
Okay.
very, very hard to do because most prepared foods, I say, are 30 to 40% calories from fat overall. And when we say 10, we're not saying, well, nature says 10. We're just saying that gives you some leeway so that you can have a treat meal or a cheat meal every once in a while, because everybody does.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's perfect out there. I know. Okay. And of course, the temptations are everywhere. Like everywhere we go, 95% of the choices are bad. So we know
And
you're
like
going to slip up.
you
Okay.
said that it used to be like when you first started the Veg Fests that the idea of vegan or plant-based was like unknown, but
Yeah.
now it's so popular or it's growing so much that it's never been easier to be vegan, but it's never been harder to be healthy
Yeah.
plant-based.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's like you're completely, if you don't have illness. Actually, I'll just run some numbers just to give everybody an idea of where we stand as a society. I was on AI, like I am every once in a while, saying, hey, I keep telling people our goal as an organization for our
Yeah.
nonprofit is to eradicate non-communicable disease from humans. Non-communicable disease is anything you can't catch from somebody else. And guess what? Turns out that almost every disease that people suffer from is non-communicable. There's a small
Wow.
fraction of other things out there, but 75% of the top 10 reasons why you might die, non-communicable diseases,
Yeah.
and anything you can think of, really, even multiple sclerosis, heart disease, high blood pressure, obesity, goes on and on and on. These are all the same disease in a way, expressing differently.
They're
Turns out,
lifestyle diseases.
yeah, I mean, it's your choices. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, all the choices that people make that are 100% legal. There's no laws against them. So you're welcome to go ahead and basically slowly kill yourself painfully over time. There's nothing illegal about that. If you want to
Yeah.
speed the process up, then yeah, people don't like that. But
Right.
they want to keep you a sick patient for as long as possible. That's how the business model works.
Yeah.
So we're outside of that model, and it turns out that I always say, like, hey, if you're over 50, because I'm 55, you're most likely chronically ill. But I didn't have any numbers to back that up. I think I looked it up, and it was like something like 95% of
Wow.
anyone over 50 has a non-communicable disease of some type, at least one. But it turns
Wow.
out it's even worse than I thought. When I go to younger years, I looked up, like, what's the average 30-year-old. I think the average 30-year-old, you're 75% likely to have a non-communicable disease.
Oh
And
my
of course,
gosh.
yeah, so we're because this, everybody knows, I think the word's been around that in the United States, and everybody wants to be like Americans, apparently,
Yeah.
we have the most expensive healthcare system per capita cost and some of the worst results. So
Yeah.
there's no value there. They're not, the people in the medical system, unless they are board certified in lifestyle medicine, just don't have the knowledge to tell you
No.
what to do. That's the problem. They have the knowledge to manage and treat your issue,
Yeah.
but they will never promise healing. That's the
No.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, actually, before I know we're dragging on here a little bit. I want to get through the 6 pillars
Okay.
of healthy vegan food. That's what we call it. Healthy vegan food, because, like you said, most vegan foods aren't healthy. In fact, I would never equate the word healthy with the word vegan,
Right.
unless it's healthy vegan food 6 pillars. That's why we developed the standard. Because I don't want to tell somebody the wrong thing and have them come back and say, hey, you told me I was supposed to be
Right.
healthy. And I know this is what drives the whole ex-vegan movement too. Almost everybody's the same story. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, well, I felt great initially, and then all of a sudden I just felt terrible. I couldn't
Yeah.
recover. And the minute I ate animal products, I came back, and I'm like, well, it's because you were doing it wrong, but that's why I don't want to say that vegan's healthy. Your retreat is healthy. Our nutritional standard is healthy. But outside of that, it doesn't exist. It's unfortunately, I'd say What the Health gave the wrong impression by telling people that they could just give up animal products and they'd be the best they could be with their health, because it's just not true, unfortunately. I've
I'm
seen
sure
too many. Yeah,
you and I both, we know at least a handful of just personally vegans who had heart attacks or have had things
Yeah,
happen to them because just because you're eating
oh,
Beyond Burgers
yeah.
and Oreos does not make you healthy.
Yeah, that's a great point because especially in the last couple of years, and we hard stopped our festivals April of 2023. But I'd say since then, there's been almost a tidal wave of
Yeah,
people who say they're whole food plant based, for instance, which has no universal definition, that are chronically ill or
yeah,
that have died. And that's because, in my opinion, they were doing a great job. Unfortunately, there wasn't like our 6 pillar healthy vegan food standard has not been widely known until recently. And I'd say that you need to align as close as you can to nature.
yeah,
And yeah, it's always a struggle. There's always learning. You're always going against what society is doing. you know, I mean, but society is chronically ill, so you have to
yeah.
decide
Do
what you
you
want to
want to
do.
be like 95% of the population, or do you want to be like the healthy 1%? Like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, all right, so I just talked about the fat, right? So it's got to be no added oil and then maximum 10% calories of fat to give you a little leeway to have a cheat meal or a treat meal in there every once in a while. And then number 4 is zero added salt or added sodium. The reason for that is because all plants have sodium, all plants have fat, all plants have fiber, all plants have water, all plants have protein, everything you need, right?
yeah,
So when you add sodium, as more and more of the evidence has been uncovering, even in the last couple of years, I'd say the last year and a half specifically, people have come out who have left the medical industry who know that this added sodium thing is interrupting the healing process in the human body. Whenever you consume and isolate, you're going to have negative side effects. Just get your sodium from the plants. Right
yeah.
behind me, these leaves have sodium in them. If you want to eat them, I don't know what this plant is, but I'm like, I'll eat a different plant. So, all right. Then, sorry, my iPods are popping out of my ears here. No, our number 5 says zero alcohol. But like we talked about in lifestyle medicine, you don't want to do anything that is, something that is going to be harming your health or risky. That's what they call it. Nothing like super risky. And these substances, right? You can go on and on about what it is, but if you're addicted to something and it's not something that's beneficial to you, it probably qualifies as something you should avoid. Not to say that you can't have something every once in a long while, okay? But I'm saying you don't want a habit like that. That's what you don't want. And then number 6, our last one is zero refined sugar. We use a T. Colin Campbell Center for Nutrition Studies um, definition for that. So they say you can use dates, molasses, and maple syrup, and so you can sweeten your stuff with that. And that's
Awesome.
basically it. And I've asked AI too. I said, hey, if this protocol is followed, if you are compliant with this close to nature protocol,
Yeah,
can we eradicate non-communicable disease in humans? Because that's our goal. And the answer is yes. There's only a few, outlying cases that wouldn't work, but the
yeah.
reality is it'll work for everybody. That's how life works.
They just have to give up their dead, decaying animals and all their junk food and eat as close to nature as possible.
Yeah, yeah. And then your vegan wellness retreat is the way to do that. I mean, because you need to get into a situation where you're not tempted
Yeah,
from the outside world and you have that positive support that's
absolutely.
concentrated. And that's what happens at your event because we've been there 2 years in a row already, going into year 3.
Yeah.
And I know we have a discount code too for people that want to sign up,
Yes.
right? It's Health 100, I believe. Is that right?
Yes. And you'll get $100 off your ticket.
Okay, well, that's the way to do it because everybody wants this. We go to different events. We have our own stuff. Like I said, we do restaurant events. We have meetings here that are locally as well. And I always ask people, who here likes to be sick? Raise your hand.
Yeah,
And nobody ever raises their hand. So we already know everybody wants this. It's just like,
exactly.
how are we going to do it?
Exactly. So on top of when you were talking about the different like steps to health, it's not just food.
Yeah,
So there's something people don't talk about enough as far as I don't think they talk about enough. It is loneliness. So
yeah.
research shows that chronic loneliness increases the risk of early death by 26 to 29%, and people who lack social support are far more likely to abandon health habits, including diet and exercise,
Yeah.
which is just like shocking to me how high that is.
I
Um,
believe that. That makes sense because I would also say that creates stress.
yeah,
The stress management, I mean, loneliness is very stressful.
Yeah.
And then depending upon how lonely you are, right? I mean, you may only hang around a few people if that's the case. And I would hope they're good influences, but the reality is, like I tell folks all the time, I think you know too, you become like the 5 people you hang around the most.
Yes.
So you have to choose 5 good, positive influences, maybe even mentors,
Yeah.
because I've had mentors in my life and they're extremely valuable. Hard to find sometimes, but once you find them, you want to spend
Absolutely.
time with them, because that's one cure for loneliness.
Yeah. Do you think that community is the missing piece to health optimization? I feel like a lot of times we focus
Yeah,
on sleep and we focus on eating and we focus on exercise, but we don't talk about that. I love what you just said. The 5 people you hang around most is what you're going to
yeah,
become. I
yeah,
think that's trending in the right direction of like not hanging around people that you don't want to be like. Not
yeah,
to be mean or anything, but like I think that's so important. So going to events where the vibe is the vibe that you want for your life,
yeah,
like your events, the vegan wellness retreat, and you're around all these like-minded people. Um, and even for a lot of people, they can only afford or they can only get off time for work to go to one thing a year. But in that one event, in that one couple days, they fill their cup up enough and it gets them
yeah,
to the next event and the
yeah.
next
You,
year.
you get you get energized,
Yeah,
and you leave there like excited about doing something. And then I want to
absolutely.
come back again to that stress management thing, because that stress management pillar of lifestyle medicine, like I believe stress is just doing something you don't want to do. So I don't think anyone wants to be lonely. Like you bring
Right.
up lonely. Like, I don't think so. You have to figure out, like, what's the antidote to that. Well, you got to figure out your life purpose,
Yeah.
because if you don't know your life purpose, you don't have goals. Uh, you know, you're not going to ever achieve what you want to do. So you have to spend a little bit of time thinking about that, pondering it. And I
Mm.
do think that nobody wants to be sick, right? So even
Yeah.
if you don't know what you want to do, at least know you don't want to be sick, and then
Yeah.
try to surround yourself with other like-minded individuals that feel the same.
Yeah. Absolutely. At the end of the day, it all comes back to one truth. You have the power to change your health destiny.
Yeah.
Your food choices matter, your environment matters, your community matters.
Yeah.
So, if someone is watching today and wants to take their power back, what's the first step you think they should take?
Well, I say you need to recognize, because a lot of folks don't recognize, that the human body is regenerative.
Hmm.
What I would say is life always wants to continue, like
Yeah.
life at the cellular level. Okay, like if you decide I don't want to continue my life, I don't like it, that you got to go see somebody. That's something different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your body always wants to continue life. It throws off this non-communicable disease to get your attention, and it
Hmm.
will never stop trying to get your attention because it wants to live.
Yeah.
So just recognize that, like, your body, because most people have non-communicable disease. Most people are like, oh, I'm already chronically ill. What can I do? Well, you're chronically ill because your body's communicating to you it doesn't want to remain there anymore. So
Yeah.
why don't you just maybe think about that, and realize that anything that you do that's going to help your body to not have to express that disease is going to help in your recovery process. And everyone is kind of recovering. I've had to recover, okay? Like for my first starting in this journey 11 years ago and even 20 years ago, if I look back, it's been a journey, and I'm recovering from that incorrect knowledge that I was given
Yeah.
in my younger years. So I would say, as long as you are willing and wanting to not be sick, which I truly believe no one wants to be sick, then you
Yeah.
have the motivation in you. And that first step would be, of course, the best thing is surrounding yourself with live in-person humans, like at the vegan wellness retreat, because you're going to get energized. Like I said, you're going to realize there's other people like that outside of you. But outside of that, if you don't want to, if you can't go, if it's too much money, you can't take the time off. There's always resources. Like we have a YouTube channel. I think you have a YouTube. You have
Yeah.
your Instagram here. All the speed. There's all kinds of knowledge. There's books. There's documentaries. When I first started my journey, I say when I hit my rock bottom as an adult, and I had high cholesterol at 30, which is 26 years ago now. That's when the internet was new. There were no documentaries or anything, but right
Right.
away I could tell it was the food. Like that's the first thing I focused on, and of course I solved that problem. And then of course as that problem got solved, I'm like, wow, I'm just getting better and better over time. Because why
Yeah.
would I get better and better over time? Because I was told all the wrong information
We
to
have to
begin with.
rewire our brains. We have to relearn everything.
Yeah, so that first step could be any one of those things. I'd say watching documentaries, reading books, um, going to local events. Like, I said, we travel a lot. So we're in the villages. We're in Southwest Florida. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're in Northern Virginia. We have events in all these different places in person, and there's others that do it too, probably where you live. So,
How do people find out where you're going to be, where your events are going to be? How do people find you and stay in touch?
well, for us, you can go to our calendar. It's at plantbasedevents.info, which is actually the same name as this Instagram handle,
Okay.
plantbasedevents.info. But if you go into a browser, type in plantbasedevents.info, you can go to our calendar on Eventbrite where you can follow us, and you'll get
Oh, that's
notifications
cool.
every time we release a new event, whether it's local or a travel event. They're all on there.
Awesome. And then you also, as you spoke about, you do these amazing like trips. So not only the cruise, you were just in Africa and I saw
Yeah.
you almost got attacked by a gorilla.
I did get attacked by a gorilla.
Oh,
Yeah,
you did
I
get
think
attacked by a
I got
gorilla.
jumped. Yeah, if you looked at the video, I wasn't recording. I wasn't holding my camera up steady the whole time. I was down on the ground, so
Oh
you
my
didn't really see
gosh.
what happened. But the guys who were with us, they had to pull the gorilla off.
Oh my
He just
goodness.
wanted to play.
Yeah.
But
So if you
if
want
you,
to go and you want to go on one of these once in a lifetime trips, but you don't want to have to worry about where am I going to eat, what am I going to eat, I don't want to give up my health just to see the world.
yeah,
Mike's trips and events, it's the place to do it, and I highly, highly recommend because you can keep your goals and keep your health that matters to you and the food and the optimization, but also see the world and have a great time.
yeah,
Um,
and we kind of say here's two things that we say that people are like, well, why are you doing this? There's already vegan events or plant-based events, and there
yeah,
are, but like we talked about, you're going to come back, and if you're trying to do the best you can before you go on a trip, you're going to come back in worse shape than when you left. So our
exactly.
events, you're going to come back in the same or better. Most people come back
Yes.
in a better condition. They don't have to recover. And the reality is there's so few people that are into this. Most people are chronically ill. They can't get that whatever that push is they need to get it done.
Yeah.
We're optimists though. We believe it'll happen. But the first way that's going to happen, just like with the vegan wellness retreat, is you've got to be able to leave your house and
Yeah.
not harm your health.
Exactly.
Until that can happen, there is no we're not making much progress. But
Yeah.
these are your event, our events. They're all very new. So this
Right.
is like a new paradigm. I'm not, and like I said, I'm an optimist. So I think we're headed in the right direction.
Awesome. Well, if this conversation resonated with you, make sure you follow Mike. Again, where do they follow you?
Plantbasedevents.info.
Awesome. And check out his events and his cruises. Start surrounding yourself with people who live the way that you want to live, teach the way
Yeah,
you want to teach. Your health destiny is in your hands, no one else's.
that's right. Your
And you
hands.
don't have to do it alone. So join us in June. You'll hear Mike and his wife Denise speak.
Yeah.
There'll be around 350 other like-minded individuals of all ages, which is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's June 14th through the 18th. You can find it at veganwellnessretreats.com. You can learn more about our 45 other speakers. And yeah, we are so grateful that Mike and Denise are coming back for their third year in a row. We love having him.
All
So if
right.
you have any questions, reach out to either one of us. Thanks, Mike, for doing this. Thanks for
Yeah, of
taking the
course.
time and enjoy your road trip.
All right. Wonderful catching up with you, and I'll see you in person in June.
Sounds good, Mike.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.